Hello Gelli fans. My art is really about discovering images that my mind makes up out of interesting backgrounds. The Gelli Plate is key to this, as it never fails to surprise and inspire me. These two I made before I had my YouTube channel, and I wish I had filmed these projects because now I can hardly remember how I made the base background layer. It's what I want to try and redo in the next video if you're interested. For today, however, I dug up some strange and unfinished pieces that I made for my decalcomania video. Up here is the link to that, and I have the strong urge to work out some of them. Look at this strange lizard-like creature. This one, surprisingly, turned out to be an erotic piece, with only a few marks here and there. I won't do any more work on it. This one, after I stared at it for a while, I saw a giant rat in. You see the ears here on the left and on the right, and the tip of the nose, and the two small eyes. Tell me in the comments if you want to see how the rat comes to life. But I have decided that I want to work out this one. After turning it to see what I see, I found a face here on the left, but somehow couldn't find it very interesting until I saw yet another animal here on the right, a seahorse. Can you see it? Complete with its tail. So let's see how we do this. Here is a seahorse and pelican painting I made a couple of years ago. My first working out creatures out of textures painting, inspired by Gerda Lipski. You probably all know her. She's my master, my hero and teacher and friend by now. But what I wanted to say is that every time I see an animal emerging from a crazy scenery, I use real-life photography to study the animal's typical shapes and details. For this seahorse, I'm collecting some photos from Pixabay. There's a dried seahorse, that's how you know they have a sort of skeleton on the outside. Then a photo of a living and real one, and then an image that is AI generated but still useful for me, and even a graphic art seahorse that I get inspired from. So while I'm looking at two of these pictures, I'm drawing out the general outline of the seahorse to get orientated where I want certain details, where the nose is, which I'm doing right now, and how the shape of the head is, and so on. So I'm drawing the upper outline of the head because I want to start doing this by building some Bürzel, as we say in German. I looked it up in a dictionary and it said it's called rump or rumps or Pope's nose. And I hope this is not, I'm not get carried away with sexual language or something. I just looked it up and I hope it's okay with you to call them rumps. So I'm building these rumps all around the upper head. And as you can see in the original, it's really very interesting how different they are from the AI generated picture. In real life, they come in all different various sizes and forms, these seahorses. I have seen, like this one, for example, has a fin on the back and on the belly too. And I've seen some that don't really have that. And also the eyes are always very different. Everything is always very different. And you know those seahorses who have like the big evening gown on with long slides of fins and things like that. It's a funny animal, and that's why I like to draw it. So while I'm scribbling away, some remarks on my art shop that I just opened. It is going to be connected with my channel and being checked by YouTube at the moment, which obviously can take up to a few days. Here is the name of my shop. You can check it out if you type it in like this. I have put like 12 original paintings on it, and you can also buy prints of most of them. Nearly all of them I have made videos about how they emerged. I will be putting in some more next week, and hopefully it will be connected here by then. So check it out. So I'm drawing in the eye of the seahorse. This looks nothing like a seahorse's eye. It's from the AI generated picture. But I don't mind, it's not a real seahorse eye. It's beautiful. So I'm using the pencils, and what I forgot to tell you before is that I made this print on a Yupo paper, which is usually used for alcohol inks, sorry. And you can see it doesn't take the pencil everywhere. It only takes the pencil well in areas where there's acrylic on the Yupo paper. So that's a delicate thing. I could switch to markers, but I don't want to do that. I'm so addicted to my pencils. I just don't want to work without them. So I take the possibility that it's not taken by the paper in all areas. I take it as an advantage. You can see here in the lower tail that there is, it's kind of very light down there, and I'm not changing that too much. But later you'll see me using a marker as well. I am roughly orienting the drawing of the tail by this AI generated picture. And I really have to say the shape of my seahorse's tail is so much more interesting than the AI generated. Take that, AI. But it's not so easy to get a shape out of this. You have to remind yourself the tail has to get thinner by the curled end. That is so that it's not too unrealistic. This is just not about realism and anatomy. It's more about whether it's believable that this could be a seahorse, and no anatomy needed. But principal shapes should be recognizable somehow. And here I'm filling in some of the background to make the seahorse a little better distinguishable from the background. And I'm also drawing an outline of the belly fin here that I told you about before. And for the graphic art design seahorse, you can see it has like where the ears should be. I don't know if they even have ears. I guess somewhere they do. There's a fin too. I'll call it the ear fin. You cannot see it in the photo of the real seahorse. So I'm not sure if this is just an invention by a designer or so. But I like it, and I think most people really think it's there. So yeah, maybe some kind of seahorses they have it, and some do not have it. Is there some expert out there who's watching this, knowing all about seahorses? Tell us. Now here comes the real interesting part. I'll zoom it up for you. You can see the outer skeleton in the photo of the dried seahorse, and just where I made the decalcomania wrappings, I can turn these shapes into the stages of the skeleton. I just have to add vertical stages too. Just see me painting this and later darkening the shadows a bit with a darker green. And it is so amazing. I'm so amazed by that. After I saw the seahorse, I just thought, yeah, well, it's all there. you know, it was there. I just have to enhance it a little. And sometimes I think I'm so lucky. I'm so happy that these things always turn out so nicely. I just find it unbelievable, my luck. I used a white chalk marker for the highlights of the stitches. Then I switched to my trusty fabric marker. That pencil is just so great. I don't know why. I use it all the time. It's when you've done something wrong, if you're quick, you can just erase it with your finger. And it's just subtle enough, and it's not too bright like a gel marker. So it's perfect for these. And for the stripes or streaks, maybe you call it, of the back fin, I'm using the indigo blue dark. And some of the fabric marker again. By the way, all materials used, I usually put them on the video, but that is so much work. It takes such a long time that I'm listing them in my info box below. Here you can see again how the green pencil is resisted by the paper again, so that it has whiter holes in it. But that gives it even more structure, and I really don't mind that. By the way, when I was about at that stage here, my neighbor's daughter came over to me and saw this drawing, and she really, really liked it. She's 6 years old, and yesterday she had her first day of school. So she wanted to have it afterwards when I finished it, and I was gonna put it up in my shop, which I can't do now because I just couldn't resist the little girl. And so I promised to give it to her, but I will sell copies of it, and I hope the copies will be quite well, and maybe that's even better than the original because it's a better paper then. So to put a little more interest onto the surface of the seahorse, I'm just enhancing the very subtle structures that are there by giving them just very light shadows, and I think it's really nice. In the green areas, I'm putting in some shadows with a dark green pencil. And I really love these structures. They are all there, and you just have to enhance them a little bit. And also, these are the typical decalcomania stripes going down there, and I'll enhance them too. I really have to make another video about decalcomania printing with and without the Gelli plate. It's possible. And I'm putting some dark green shadows in here as well. A few thoughts about patience that people ask me. How does it come you can be so patient with all these thousands of little detail drawings? And well, for me, that's only been recently the case. When I was younger, I never really finished any drawing or any painting because I was not patient. But the patient comes if you try to relax, put on some music that you love. In this case, it was some old Pink Floyd songs. Does anybody remember that? And that relaxes me so much that I don't even feel how the time goes by. I just noticed at some point that it's dark, like here now. That's why I have a light change here. And yeah, it's so relaxing. It's not about finishing a piece. It is more about enjoying the journey, enjoying dribbling, scribbling away. And finally, I gave in to the idea of using a marker here. So I have a blue marker. It's a Pigma Micron pen. It's very thin. I really like it, and I just use it for the very soft outlines. And watch me doing this, because sometimes I'm not really drawing the outline in one line, but making pauses in the lines so that it's a little broken in some places. This is another dark blue marker. It's a bit darker, so I like it more, but it's also not as fine as the Micron. I have to look up the brand and write it in the info box for you. And here in the background, the only thing I'm doing here is putting some shadows into the blue areas so that it seems like when you have the light coming from above left, as is always the case in my paintings, you can tell that the blue areas are really under the green areas, and that is a difference to the horse's structure. The seahorse's structure, and you can tell the difference better. And the only place I'm also using that marker is on the eye, because I'm a little unnerved by the fact that it's not really dark in some places because I couldn't take the pencil. And finishing with some highlights with a gel marker. And so this is it. What do you think? I really, really like it. I could give the background another color, but somehow I don't want to touch it anymore. And, you know, sometimes the unfinished look is really better than the perfectly finished look, like you could see in the AI picture. So, yeah, I'm happy for Sophie that she gets this little drawing. And have a look at my shop. You can buy copies of this seahorse there. I haven't put them up yet, but just stay tuned with me. Bye.